We begin with a developing story we've been following all day, the manhunt for a convicted murderer who was mistakenly released from Cook County Jail. At this hour, there are a lot of questions about exactly how that could have happened. Good evening. Steven Robbins was allowed to walk out of the Cook County Jail on Wednesday night.
Well, he should have been returned to a prison in Indiana where he was serving a 60-year murder sentence. Instead, he remains on the loose at this hour. ABC 7's Paul Meinke is joining us live in Maywood, where Cook County Sheriff Tom Dart just talked about the case. Paul.
Cheryl, this appears to have been a clerical error, a very, very embarrassing clerical error in a system that is still heavily reliant on the passage of paper. Sheriff Tom Dart a few minutes ago telling us, we let people down, and we're going to fix this. The long and short of it is that while the sheriff's police have some leads onto the possible whereabouts of this convicted killer who was on the loose, at this hour, he remains at large.
So it was a clerical error.
It appears at this point. I hate being definitive right now because, as I say, it's been less than 24 hours since we've been made aware that he was gone, and we spent most of the time looking for him. But our initial investigation appears to be a clerical error, and in no way are we talking responsibility. We let people down, and we're going to fix this.
This is Steven Robbins, convicted 10 years ago of a murder in Indianapolis. He was doing his time at the Indiana State Prison in Michigan City, a 60-year sentence. On Tuesday, he was driven from the prison to Cook County because of a 20-year-old outstanding criminal warrant here. The apparent intent was to clear it from the books. So Robbins went to court here Wednesday. The warrant was formally quashed, paperwork carted out. Back to jail goes Robbins, who should have been returned to Indiana. But what's seen in the jail is that the old Cook County charge had been dismissed. So Steven Robbins, convicted killer, is allowed to go free, walks out, and in civilian clothing. Where'd they come from?
Usually what they would take with them would be their legal material because it was a court case, and maybe hygiene items because they would be there for a few days, but it would be a very minimal amount of items that would go with them.
So no need for civilian clothing. Furthermore, the state's attorney says there was no need to bring Robbins here at all.
The Cook County Sheriff's Police in their extradition unit and fugitive warrant unit asked for us to bring him back, and they actually have the responsibility to bring him back. And the several days prior to him being brought here, one of our assistant state's attorneys told the Cook County Sheriff's Police that there was no need to bring him back because the case had been dismissed back in 2007.
Because no paperwork had gone to the jail about him coming from Indiana, all the people in the records room saw was a guy whose court case was dismissed. And so he, like another 200 people every day, we release. And he was released like the other 200 we release every day out the front door of the jail.
Robbins is considered dangerous. There is some money that's been gathered for a reward. The FBI, Crime Stoppers combining for $12,000 reward for information as to the possible whereabouts of Mr. Robbins. We do have some more information now about how he got his clothing. The jail actually has some goodwill clothing, and when people leave the jail, they are set free, and they're in jail garb, they get clothing. And so he was offered clothing by the jail to walk out, and as is tradition, to someone who is not being picked up and has no transportation, he was also given a CTA bus pass with 2 transfers allowed. So presumably he took the bus after he left the jail. Imagine what he must have been thinking as he was told, you can go. Live in Maywood, Paul Meinke, ABC 7 News. Ron, Cheryl, back to you.
All right. Thanks, Paul, very much. The thermometer barely reached